Good morning. Especially to all of you who are 1 hour sleep deprived. We set aside this time for any announcements that will be of interest to our community and friends. Please be succinct when announcing upcoming events or updates. If you have an announcement, please raise your hand and Andy or I will call on you. Come up to the podium or unmute yourself, then share. Okay. Nancy, and then Sue, and then who?
Oh, I'm going to be extra tall.
That's right.
Look down on you from great heights. No, that's terrible. Oh my gosh. I made this too big. Let's not risk losing our tax-free status. Just a reminder to everyone that we cannot campaign for political candidates on the UUCC premises. Here is literally what the IRS website says, and there's emphasis in the original. Currently, the law prohibits political, I'm getting to the quote part though. Currently, the law prohibits political campaign activities by charities and churches as defined by defining a 501c3 organization as one, quote, and this is an emphasis, which does not participate in or intervene in, including the publishing or distributing of statements, any political campaign on behalf or in opposition to any candidate for public office. Thank you.
But I will campaign for the Operations Committee meeting that is going to meet here this Thursday night at 6 o'clock. And we're making great strides on redoing the brochure that we have, thanks to Janet. And so if you would like a final say in that, come and join us at 6 o'clock in the sanctuary here this Thursday. There will be some food to eat while we work. And the other announcement is, we've put in our application to work Earth Day again, April 19th over at the Green Space Preserve. And so I'm looking for new people to come and help me do that, you know, some new ideas and some new people to work it. So please get in touch with me if you're interested in helping with Earth Day this year. It's on a Sunday, but I usually go and set up. I miss church, but I'd like somebody else to kind of run it this year. Thank you.
Next week after the service, we're having a congregational meeting. It should be brief. We're going to vote on how to distribute the excess funds from last year. I just wanted to take a stroll amongst members. How many think they'll be here next week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whoa, okay, we need 24. We'll let people on Zoom vote too. But okay, well, please remember to be here, stay after the service, and we hope to get this taken care of.
They will give you daylight savings, so maybe more people.
Oh, maybe more people.
Good morning. I'm going to stand over here to the side because otherwise I'll be up here. Anyway, here to make the annual shameless plea on behalf of the Scholarship Committee. We met this past week, identified a number of deserving candidates, and once again, more than we have budgeted funds for. So we are shamelessly pleading for additional funds. You can write a check and put scholarship on the memo line, or if you prefer cash, there's envelopes in the back, and you can go ahead and just write scholarship on those. Thank you.
How about that slide, huh?
Wow. Great slide.
Okay, I'm going to straddle the thing. So the RE committee is back with our Wednesday afternoon discussion, this being the second Wednesday coming up of the month, on Zoom, so you can stay at home and participate. We're going to listen to 2 TED Talks. Well, I think we'll have time to do both because they're short. This being Women's History Month, we have 2 remarkable women who are going to share their history with us, which regards the power of diversity within yourself, and 3 questions to ask yourself about everything you do. Stacey Abrams, I think most of us are familiar with, is a truly remarkable woman. And I'll just add on to that. So that's Wednesday on Zoom. I'll send out the invitation. And then finally, right now, I am the RE committee, and I would love to have some others join me in brainstorming great ideas for us to share in our religious education. So please get in touch with me if you would like to be part of that.
Thank you. And next week, Kelly Lemon will present Finding Hope in the Silence. Let us take a moment to still our hearts, quiet our minds, and center ourselves. I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme, and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making the best of it without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Gilda Radner. Kat will light our candle today, our chalice. Here in the sanctuary. Those of you at home are invited to light your own chalice now. As a community of faith, we travel alongside one another in our ever-changing, ever-evolving versions of ourselves. As Anne Frank reminded us, each of us is a bundle of contradictions. We come together in this moment of our journey to light a chalice, in solidarity and unified in our intention to bring more light into the world rather than darkness, more love rather than fear, as individuals, as a community. May this flame be a statement and symbol of our faith. May it light our way. Before we sing the first hymn, let me remind our remote participants to leave yourselves muted. However, we want you and whoever is with you to sing as big and loud as you like. Make it a joyous experience. So please stand in body or spirit and sing the opening hymn, We Will Carry Each Other by Soren Ostenfeld.
We have a couple of new hymns again this morning. Are you all liking the new hymns from the new hymn? Yeah. Good. Good, I'm glad you are. This one, again, as with the other ones, is easy, but I just want to let you know ahead of time that when we get to the third and fourth verse, the melody changes just a little bit. So be looking for those notes going up or down. Right? Here we go. I am looking for shelter in a friend. I can build a beginning, but I do not know the end. I am scared of breaking when I bend. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. There are prayers I don't know how to say, but I still find solace when I close my eyes to pray. What I've lost and what I hope can stay. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. I am full and I am running out. I'm a flooding river and I'm living through the drought. I have firm conviction and my heart is full of doubt. We will carry something special and I haven't found it yet. There's abundance given, freely taken with no debt. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. My courage is your courage when the journey is only getting longer. My strength is your strength. We will carry each other on the way. We will carry each other on the way. We will carry each other on the way.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community of Cambria. We're glad you've joined us today. Our UUCC sanctuary sits on land that the Eselun and Chumash indigenous peoples historically inhabited. We honor their contribution to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to gather in faith on their unceded territory. Let us respect their legacy and protect their history as we occupy this sacred space. As Unitarian Universalists, we celebrate religious diversity and welcome all who journey in search of faith and spirituality. The UUCC is a lay-led congregation run by the democratic process. We invite speakers from different religious traditions and spiritual or scientific backgrounds, as well as community leaders to speak at our pulpit. We encourage presentations covering a variety of topics and areas of interest that connect with the UU 7 principles and the 6 values: equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, justice, and interdependence, with love at the center. I know you've all memorized that as Jet Pig. Okay. Today's service centers around the first principle. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. My name is Dolores Miera, and I am your worship associate for this morning's service.
Hi, Dolores.
We extend a special welcome to today's guests and visitors. We're glad you've joined us this morning, and if you wish, please introduce yourself or your guest. If you are not on the mailing list, please visit the UUCC website at uuccambria.org so that we can keep you informed about all of our activities. Members and friends, please check out what's happening, the newsletter sent to you every week. This is a great way to keep up to date with our latest news. To see this or any of the past Zoom services, the recordings can be found on the UUCC website. Oh, and just a little blurb. So if you need a copy of the directory, right, you cannot get that on the UUC website. It has its own address. So contact someone on the board or me, and I can send you the link to that in case you didn't save it when Lori sent it out. Okay? All right. So again, good morning and welcome to everyone. The affirmation is both a recognition, come on in, sit down, have a seat, is both a recognition of the nature of this community as well as a promise to which we aspire. Let us now recite the UUCC affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace to seek the truth and freedom, and to help one another. See right there, we're helping one another, right there. This is good. Joys and concerns. Now's the time for sharing your heartfelt joys and concerns with this, your spiritual community. Please feel free to come forward and briefly express a personal celebration, sorrow, reflection, or gratitude. So the collective flames of these candles embody all the joys and concerns which may have gone unspoken today, but are also deeply felt in this community. First reading is titled A Man in His Life by Yehuda Amachi. A man doesn't have time in his life to have time for everything. He doesn't have seasons enough to have a season for every purpose. Ecclesiastes. What's wrong about that? A man needs to love and to hate at the same moment, to laugh and to cry with the same eyes, with the same hands to throw stones and to gather them, to make love in war and war in love, and to hate and forgive and remember and forget, to arrange and confuse, to eat and to digest. What history takes years and years to do? A man doesn't have time. When he loses, he seeks. When he finds, he forgets. When he forgets, he loves. When he loves, he begins to forget. And his soul is seasoned. His soul is very professional. Only his body remains forever an amateur. It tries and it misses, gets muddled, doesn't learn a thing, drunk and blind in its pleasures and its pains. He will dig as figs die and he will die as figs die in autumn, shriveled and full of himself and sweet, the leaves growing dry on the ground, the bare branches pointing to the place where there's time for everything. Let us enter a place of peace and serenity where you are one with your spiritual being. Be at peace within your space, where the absence of all that is temporal is its most cherished gift. Let us enter the stillness. May we find the compassion and empathy we need to strengthen relationships. May we find ways to love each other well. May we not judge or condemn, but rather build a beloved community. The second reading is a poem by John Odell, an American writer and poet. For those who came to Earth to win and compete will be terribly disappointed when they find out that life isn't the Olympics. It's a gathering place, my love. When we die, we don't get handed a bunch of trophies by angels wearing stopwatches. There is no medal ceremony in the hereafter. There is just a campfire circle where we make s'mores and share our stories from Earth. The only game we play in the afterlife is the one where we take turns listening to each other, and everyone always wins. Please stand in body and spirit and sing "We Have Enough" by Beverly Feld.
In those long nights when we can't sleep and our worries whisper in our ear, we need a voice that will remind us that we are always greater than our fear. We have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love, we have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love. In those hard days when the light dims and it seems like all we do is fail, we need a sign that will sustain us and help us see that hope is never frail. We have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love, we have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love. In our torn lives, there are moments when we feel a certainty within. Then we must sing to tell each other we're not alone, nor have we ever been. We have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love, we have enough time, we have enough courage, we have enough wisdom, we have enough love.
Today's talk is titled "Ragged Edges," to be delivered by Michael Eselun. Michael Eselun serves as the chaplain for the Sims-Mann UCLA Center for Integrative Oncology. Two-time TEDx speaker, Michael speaks extensively to healthcare professionals, patient populations, and faith communities across the country. Long serving as adjunct faculty at the Wiesenthal Center Museum of Tolerance, he's also worked as an activist educator addressing anti-LGBTQ bias in the larger community for well over 35 years. In 2019, Michael was inducted into the UCLA Seminole Institute Eudaimonia Society in recognition of having lived a meaningful, driven life. In early 2025, he was recognized as a champion of care by the Cancer Support Community, Los Angeles. He has 4 volumes of CDs available for purchase. Contact Michael through his website at michaeleselun.com. Michael.
Good morning, and thank you for welcoming me this morning. I have been accused from time to time of being a neat freak. It's not a label I would particularly own, but on the messy neat continuum, I definitely fall on the far side of neat. I like an orderly environment. I like things in their place. I like things to be soothing. Even so, there are still a few drawers in our house and one closet in particular that is simply out of control. filled with all the crap you can't or won't throw away, don't know where else to put, so I'll just leave it here and deal with it later. Never mind that later might mean years from now, or God forbid, after I die. No matter how hard I try to stay on top of things, I find mess just seeps out. Life is kind of like that, I think. Mess just seeps out. In August of 2005, I took a week-long seminar in Eastham, Massachusetts on Cape Cod with Thomas More, well-known psychologist and author. I had first fallen in love with his work by reading his book, Care of the Soul. The workshop was intended for therapists of one stripe or another, but there were a smattering of chaplains there. Now, Eastham is not exactly an easy place to get to from Los Angeles. You got to take a flight to Boston, another short flight to Provincetown, rent a car, drive down the Cape. Lots could go wrong. Lots did go wrong. My red-eye flight to Boston that Sunday night was a couple hours late because of weather. In turn, my flight to Provincetown was late, and I was then 3 hours late for the first day of the seminar. I had already been feeling so guilty for spending the money, taking the time off of work, and here I'd missed more than half of the first day's presentation. When I arrived at the conference room, I stood in the back, surveyed the room to look for an empty seat. I see one up there on the right. Excuse me. I do a lot of excuse me, pardon me, beg your pardon, excuse me, squeezing past these very closely spaced tables. I was feeling very conspicuous, embarrassed, dripping with sweat. It's August in Massachusetts, after all, full of self-judgment and reproach. That's kind of my default factory setting. I sat down, tried to catch my breath and catch up. Thomas seemed to be wrapping up his early morning lecture and was just about to open up the floor to Q&A. One woman raises her hand and asks quite earnestly, Thomas, yes, I'm working with a patient right now, a woman who I'm trying to bring to a place of wholeness. And can I stop you right there? He says. Can I just ask, why wholeness? Why are we so fascinated with, enamored with wholeness? What's wrong with fragmentation? He said. That question was so heretical to me that it sucked the oxygen right out of me. And in its place, it dropped a bomb that exploded with tears, uncontrollable, unexplainable, unstoppable tears. As if I weren't self-conscious enough, now I'm trying to squelch all my sobs. Thank God it was lunchtime after Q&A. 2 hours. I took a long walk. I did not stop crying for those entire 2 hours. Only twice in my life could I remember being triggered like that, with uncontrollable, unstoppable tears, as if some dam had been breached. This particular dam, I think, held back all of my belief, my certainty, my faith in the idea that all the puzzle pieces have to fit, that everything has its place, that it all needs to make sense. Life needs to make sense. My life needs to make sense. And here was someone, an expert even, who dared to suggest, what if that's not true? In a way, he was giving me permission for the first time in my life, for my life to be exactly as it was. It leaves me to wonder if my whole investment in that enterprise, in getting to that workshop for the week, was met and realized in just being present to hear that one question. So much so that I'm still quoting it back to you 21 years later. Yes, what's wrong with fragmentation? A few years ago, I was walking beside Bill, who was caring for his wife living with metastatic triple-negative breast cancer. Not a good diagnosis, but for the time being, she was stable, doing okay. But the thing is, Bill had seen previews of coming attractions. Not a month before his wife was diagnosed, his mother died of the very same diagnosis, leaving behind his grieving father, clinically depressed, untreated for alcoholism. To top it off, Bill's job was now on shaky ground because of all the time he'd taken off to care for his wife. Quite understandably, he was living with a constant low-grade kind of anxiety and depression, waiting for the other shoe to drop. At the same time, he lived with this innate expectation that things will work out, that everything has its place, the boxes will be checked, and after bad times come good times. A lot of us live with that expectation. So it's not necessarily true. Some things do not get better. I wonder if, as Gilda Radner suggests, our true inner peace comes to the degree that we can embrace delicious ambiguity, ragged edges. The word worship quite literally means what we honor or revere. But I'm wondering if we might tweak and expand that definition just a little to include where we put our attention. Maybe it's on our work, on money, on a sport we love, our family. Maybe it's power. I think we're all aware of people in the world who worship power. And if that's the case, all of Bill's attention was going toward putting out fires, anticipating the next catastrophe, trying to cover for it. And if that's true, that that's a kind of worship, might it be reflecting a worship in the idea that we have some control or power over outcomes and circumstances? What would it mean if we withdrew our worship of that particular belief? What might it look like? My husband of 48 years, Scott, has been living with Parkinson's disease for nearly the last 10 years. As his disease progresses, I find the balance in my life, as if there is such a thing, moves more and more to the role of caregiver, a role for which I do not feel particularly well suited. Others seem to do it so much better, but there you are. Of course, I long to be ever patient and kind and tender and compassionate, mindful of all that we have been to each other, all that he's been for me, all that he's given to me. But with the challenges and the frustrations of the day-to-day, I'm a little embarrassed to say more often than not, what comes out is impatience, anger, resentment, a sharpness of tone, sadness, grief. Oh, the sweet stuff is there. And it does come out, bubble up from time to time, quite unreliably and unpredictably, but it is there. Whether the response is soft or hard, it's hard to say. Ragged edges everywhere. I will say that when Scott's debilities and vulnerabilities are exposed to others outside of our home, I feel a certain urge toward protecting him. And along with that urge tends to come those softer, tender feelings. Not long ago, I had to take him to the optometrist to get his eyes checked, to get a new prescription for glasses. I made the appointment for late in the day. It had been a long, hard day at work. I got him over to the optometrist. The front office staff was busy scurrying about trying to finish their end of the day tasks. I tried to hang back. I tried to encourage Scott to do what he can when he can. He goes up to the front desk and says, "Yes, my name is Scott Hennick, and I have an appointment." They did not read the room. They barely looked up. They started pelting him with all of these unrelenting questions that he couldn't answer. He was getting frustrated and confused. I was getting very irritated. "Excuse me, my husband has Parkinson's disease. He's cognitively impaired. I need you to be more patient." My little scolding did absolutely nothing to move the needle, only leaving behind an air of awkwardness. The optometrist, thank goodness, was a little bit more on board, but even so, I went in the exam room with him, knowing he would need my help, sat down in the corner. Doctor dims the light, starts showing his images on the wall. "Okay, Scott, which looks better, A or B? Scott, which looks better, A or B?" Scott was getting confused. And from the corner, I could hear my voice start to crack. "Honey, what the doctor wants to know is, when you look through those lenses and you see those letters on the wall, which ones are easier for you to read, the first ones or the second ones?" "Oh," he says, "okay. Can I see them again?" My heart just broke. To think who he was then, who he is now, who he's becoming. Every day it seems like it's just another exercise in realization. This is where we are now. Ragged edges. A few months earlier, Had to take him to his quarterly appointment with his neurologist. Those are never easy. In case you need a reality check of where you are, here you go. Started before we even got to the doctor's office. I parked in Westwood Village. Scott got out of the car and promptly fell right away on the sidewalk. Thank goodness there were some kind folks to help get him up, and I jumped out of the car and ran around feeling very embarrassed, very ashamed that I didn't get out first and help him get out of the car, but he had never needed the help. Now he does. We get to the doctor's office. She is unfailingly kind, sweet, tender, patient. I envy her. I want to be like her. But then again, she doesn't have to live with him 24/7. And he's not her spouse that she's watching slip away by inches and feet. But for the first time in the 9 years we have been seeing her, she caught him on a very bad day. He couldn't finish one sentence he started. He couldn't answer one question that she asked. On one level, it felt kind of nice to be witnessed in our reality as it is. But my heart was also kind of breaking for him. I just wanted to hold him and cry and say, it's okay, honey. It doesn't matter. We're just doing our best here, trying to get through. It's okay. It's so shocking because an hour earlier, I wanted to strangle him. Truly wanted to strangle him. Ragged edges. Nothing tidy or whole about it. Leaves me to wonder that it might come down to what's our relationship to the ragged edge. How is it that we hold it and carry it through life? I find that plenty of folks live with this kind of dogged denial attached to the idea that no such ragged edge exists, that there's a place for everything, that all the puzzle pieces fit. Everything happens for a reason. Betty was one such person. She lived with the certainty of a fundamentalist because she was a Christian fundamentalist. I only met her the first time in the infusion clinic. She was being treated for end-stage endometrial cancer. From the looks of things, she didn't have a lot of time left. Her husband was with her. But Betty's presentation was absolutely incongruous with her circumstances. She was positively giddy. Michael, I'm so happy I get to meet the Lord soon. It's such good news. I should have worn my tap shoes to the clinic today. Something seemed a little inauthentic, disingenuous, even performative. Was she showing off for me? Trying to show the chaplain how spiritually solid she was? I will say she was absolutely oblivious and impervious to the tears streaming down her husband's face sitting there, who would soon be saying goodbye to the woman with whom he had shared his entire adult life. As much as she wanted me to know that her faith was as solid as concrete, the next time I saw her, there were cracks in that concrete. She was alone. I could hear a little catch in her throat. What's coming up for you, Betty? What's going on? I don't think I was a very good mother. My kids deserved better, and now there's no time. God, so heartbreaking. It was just mess seeping out. While I do own my biases and judgments about that kind of certainty that's steeped in religious fundamentalism of any stripe, I do see the irregularities in my own ragged edges, the inconsistencies, when I'm confronted with that kind of certainty that isn't rooted in religion. Calvin is 40 years old. He's taking care of his wife, Rose, with a very aggressive lymphoma. Calvin is a scientist. He is practically minded. He's a realist. He's an atheist. And yet he says, Michael, she's going to make it. I just know it. You don't know her. I know her. We've been through so much. She's going to make it. And to him, I can only say, may that be so. On the flip side of that certainty is Larry. Larry's lived his whole life from the place of indecision. The only thing certain in Larry's life is I can't decide. He's lived his whole life at the effect of the choices and decisions made by others, and that leaves him with some disappointment and regret, to be sure. But it's also comfortable territory. He knows his way around here. He's lived his whole life like that. He reminds me of Cinderella in Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods, who's sitting on the steps of the palace, sifting through her ambivalence about being pursued by a prince. And she sings, "You know what your decision is, which is not to decide. You'll leave him a clue, for example, a shoe, and then see what he'll do." Larry lived his whole life like that. No accountability whatsoever, and plenty of people to blame. But now the stakes are higher. The walls are closing in. He's got stage 4 colon cancer. Larry, with the limited time you got, are you finally going to make a choice? This is what matters to me now. This is how I want to spend my time. Or you're going to choose not to decide. Celeste, on the other hand, is moving into survivorship after cervical cancer. No evidence of disease. Great news. Celeste is a deep thinker, highly reflective, attuned to the nuance in life, considers herself deeply spiritual. And yet, despite her good health news, she remains so disappointed. Michael, I so desperately wanted that lightning bolt of clarity. This is what it's about, Celeste. This is what your whole life has been about. This is your takeaway message. It wasn't there. Only a ragged edge. A few years ago, I absolutely fell in love with Paulette. She was so feisty and fierce and independent with this wicked sense of humor. She loved life. She loved nature. She loved to travel. In many ways, I felt like we were kindred spirits. I walked beside her over the last couple years of her life, living with metastatic breast cancer. Early on, we would have conversations now and then about what was coming down the pike. And she would always say something to the effect of, "I love life. Don't get me wrong, but I do not want any long parade of suffering at the end." Well, Paulette loved France and everything French, all dating back to her year as an exchange student in high school. She loved the language. She spoke it fluently. She loved the country. She loved the people, the food, the art, the wine, the music, Edith Piaf, everything French. She was so hoping to get one more trip to France while she still could. Sadly, that didn't happen. As her disease progressed, we had more and more conversations about what was coming, about how she didn't want that long parade of suffering, and so she expressed interest in taking advantage of aid in dying medication for when the moment came. I always encourage patients who are considering the option to start the ball rolling as soon as you qualify. You don't want to wait too long until you're so sick and feel so terrible that then you have to jump through all these bureaucratic hoops to make it happen. It's not as simple as taking a prescription over to CVS. Get the medication now. You're not obligated to take it. Have it as an escape hatch. Paulette took my advice. Though she wasn't at all ready to set a date, she still enjoyed her life more than she didn't. She liked to sit in her garden with her cat Roscoe. She liked to have a friend over, maybe for lunch or a short walk. But then she got news that the cancer had moved to her brain and her spinal column. Not good news. She needed to set a date. She asked me if I'd be willing to be with her when she ingested the medication, along with her beloved goddaughter Lisa and her best friend Nancy. For me, when someone honors you with a request like that, you say yes, no matter how much trepidation or hesitation you might feel. A hospice nurse would also be there to help mix the medication and to deal with the aftermath. It was surreal. This is where all of these realities collide and start to bring each different reality into a different relief. Now she was trying to coordinate our schedules and our calendars to come up with a date to die, as if she were planning a birthday party or a lunch, and not the very last day of her mortal existence and all that that would imply. She decided on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:30. That is one appointment for which you do not want to be late, not even a minute. But the hospice nurse was. 2:30 came and went, and he wasn't there. She got on the phone with the hospice agency, so furious. Where is he? I'm not at all happy with your services. Do you know what I'm about to do here today? I've never done this before. Despite her fury, there's that dark humor coming out. That's right, Paulette. Wait till they send you that customer service satisfaction survey after the whole event. They could just wait for it, right? Oh, we laughed. Now, one might think it would be all lofty conversation and this is what life's about for me. This is the last day I'm going to see the sky, and all of that is true. But practicality also sort of takes over, much like when one takes a beloved dog or cat to be put down, you can't even conceive of what you're doing. You mean in an hour you'll be gone? But there is suffering, and there's urgency, and they need relief, and they need it now. It's a two-step process to take the medication. First, one drinks a concoction that serves as an anti-nausea drug, and then you wait a half an hour, and then you take the lethal dose. It can take some time for a person to actually die, but generally one slips into unconsciousness almost immediately after drinking that medication. But oh, that 30 minutes. Paulette was quite a chatterbox. She just kept talking. I'm just going to keep talking so you'll know when I'm gone. It's been a good life. It really has, she started to say. Well, not the last few years anyway. But even that was kind of good. Look at all the wonderful people I met in the support groups, Michael, and you. I never would have met you if I didn't have cancer. I guess it really got bad in the last couple of months. It started with that trip to the ER. Remember, Michael, you were there. I could sense she was winding up for a blow-by-blow replay of the horrors of the last 2 months, and I felt an urgent need to redirect. The Buddhists believe it's a good idea to be reflecting on the sweet memories of life when one is facing a home stretch, that it might help grease the wheels for the next incarnation. No matter what our beliefs are about such a thing, it's not a bad idea. And so I changed course. I asked her goddaughter, Lisa, tell me a story about your godmother I don't know. Well, let's see, Michael. Did you know she took me to Paris as a graduation gift from college? Oh my God, that is so great. Tell me about it. And then they were off, reminiscing, stories, laughing, tears. And through all of this, Nancy, at Paulette's request, had prepared a playlist of music to accompany this whole endeavor. And as much as Paulette was chatting, as soon as a new song would come on, she'd look over at Nancy and pat her, thanks, sweetheart. But then when Tioff began to sing, Non, rien de rien, non, je ne regrette rien, Paulette sat up straight, threw her arms out, threw her head back, took a deep breath as if she wanted to infuse every cell of her body with that music and what it represents, even more now. And those lyrics, no, nothing at all, no, I regret nothing. When she opened her eyes, there were tears streaming down her face. The clock is ticking down, only minutes left. And then all of these reflections started to ricochet off the walls and the ceiling, piercing each of us in our heart, disparate realities. Oh God, this hurts so much. I don't think my mother ever really loved me. Michael, will you read that poem, My Love? Oh, be sure Sally gets that password to that account. She won't be able to settle the account without it. Oh, and be sure Renee gets that book. As the clock was winding down, she sat up and reached for an envelope on her bed table and gave it to Lisa, her goddaughter. Here, honey, I got you this card. I'm sorry, but I didn't have time to write anything in it, but here, take it. The profundity of that, an empty card. What? Because there's nothing left to say, or the feelings are too huge for words. And what can be said anyway? Here, take it. Look at it whenever you think of me. Imagine what I'd say. And no, it's all true anyway. It's just love. So moving to me that the last gesture of her life was giving an empty card to Lisa. I hope when my time comes, I'll have given out a few empty cards because everything will have been said. What's left to say anyway? But I love you. And then where's anybody supposed to keep the damn card anyway? I don't have a drawer for that. I'd probably lose it. I know. Right here, where it can never be lost. Like Gilda Radner, I too long for a perfect ending. For all the pieces to fit, for it all to make sense. But maybe the juice and the treasure of that perfection really lies in our messes and not in our tidiest drawers and closets. So be it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This morning's offering will now be given and received. Please remember, we're a self-sustaining congregation, provide all financial resources for our ministry. We recognize the spiritual value of generosity and invite you to participate. If you're viewing this service remotely, please use one of the methods shown on the screen. Thank you. Our thanks for all gifts given and received for the work of this community. Please stand in body or spirit and sing the closing hymn, For All That Is Our Life.
Which we are called to you. for needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
As we prepare to extinguish the chalice, let us recite the valediction. The flame of this chalice will no longer burn today, but the light of the flame within our hearts continues to shine brightly, illuminating the love felt in our community. Please extinguish your chalice at home now. Now, if you'll gather together and form a circle and join hands so that Michael can deliver his closing words to us.
I invite us to take a few nice, deep breaths together once again, feeling the softness and the power of what it means to come together like this. A fragmented lot, to be sure, but still connected. I invite you to reflect on the empty card you might want to give a loved one when facing your own home stretch. What if today were the day? What might you want to say if you had the time? Or would you choose to leave it blank? Maybe there are just too many ragged edges in all the feelings you carry to write it all down. May we more and more come to live from the place of giving love away for no good reason at all, and holding all the cards given to us safely in our hearts. So be it.